Hello guys, Sagar this side. So if you see on my screen, I have a browser and I'm accessing a URL 192.168.200.100, and if I refresh, you can see the web pages are changing. Okay, so from blue to red, red to blue, so green, right? So basically one URL, but then it's been load shared with three different servers, right? So this is a fundamental of F5 load balancer. So today's video, I'll try to cover up a brief on F5 LTM load balancer. So main target would be to understand what is LTM, okay? The LTM module of the F5 big IP product. So what I'm doing right now when I'm refreshing, so let me make use of my marker here. So I'm here. All right, I guess problem with my marker. Let me reopen. Yeah, so I'm over here. Let's say I'm source and I'm trying to access some URL which is loaded here on this F5 machine 192.168.200.100. Okay, so you can see the same thing. 192, 168, 200, 100. And if I just refresh, you can see in the back end, the servers are load shared. So what is happening here? So when the URL 200.100 is being hit, the load balancer is gonna share the traffic or share the TCP connection accordingly to its backend server. So this is a server 1, this is a server 2, this is a server 3. So my TCP connection by default are making use of round robin algorithm. That means first connection to the first server, second to the second, third to the third, and then fourth comes back to the first, fifth, sixth, and so on. Okay, so this is a round robin fashion. So let's understand what is F5 LTM and how does it do the load balancing mechanism. Apart from load balancing, what are the other benefits of using LTM in the enterprise? Okay, all right, so let me take you to my notes first where I can show you all this. All right, so I have created something already so that I don't have to waste my time from the scratch. Okay, so guys, I'll walk through the simple example. Let's say, let's say I have okay, so let's say I have some ISP cloud or internet in a layman's language. Okay, and let's assume I also have a server 1, where I have loaded up some web pages, HTTP web pages. Okay, and on the other side I have some clients. So clients could be from any region. So let's say a client from US wants to access the web page. Okay, or let's say a client from India is trying to access the web page, or let's say client from Australia. So what type of connection do we expect here? So it will be a HTTP, HTTPS, right? So both of them following the TCP type of connection. Similar way, if a Indian user is trying to access something, some web page, he will also make use of very similar protocol like HTTP or HTTPS, right? Once again, the TCP protocol. Once again, if a user is trying to access the web page, he will either make use of a browser or a HTTPS connection. Once again, the TCP. Okay. Now, what internet does is internet is filled with lot many routers. So your routing concepts, MPLS concepts, VPN could be anything. We will not go into the routing concepts. And once the request hits the server, now server will respond back accordingly. Okay, so this reply back will go to the US client. Might be there will be another request going back to the Indian user. Let's say the other request is a reply for the Australian user. So what is the disadvantage here? Everything looks good and smooth. So what would be the disadvantage of this model? Just a server. So the disadvantage is the more number of connections starts flowing. So let's say if I have many more connection and many more reply backs going back, now the server will definitely get exhausted. Okay, even you have a very good server with the i9 processor or i7 processor with a very good RAM and CPU installed, but one point of time you will see your server is getting exhausted. Okay, now this server cannot handle all the requests. Lakhs of requests can be reaching to the server. Now we need something better. Okay, so what happened was the concept of DNS was introduced. DNS, yes, it's a domain name system. Okay, so now what happened was I could plug two more servers, server 2, and I will install the same package here, HTTP and some web page. Okay, I will also have one more server plugged with me. I can also keep many more servers. All right, and the same package I can install here. Now what happens is I have a domain name server. Let's name it as xyz.com, and internally it resolves to, let's say, 192.168 1.100 IP. Now this DNS system in the backend, it will start forwarding the request to the server. So let's assume in this way, or let me erase few of the previous traffic packets so that I can show it. Okay. Okay. All right. So I have cloud. Now I have something DNS, and I added few more servers. We know that the previous scenario was a complete disaster because we only had one server, and if that server goes down, or if we see lot many requests coming into that single server, the server will exhaust at one point, and then the users will not be able to build any connection. So now what we introduced, now let's label this as a scenario 2. Now I introduced a DNS. Now what happens? Request will come via internet to the DNS. Okay. So I can make use of a different color pen. So let's say this is the second TCP connection, and I have one more TCP connection. Now what happens is DNS is mapped to these servers, okay, in the backend. So DNS will start sending the request to the servers accordingly. So the second request will be handled by this server. Then you had one more request which will be handled by server 3, and so on, okay. So if you go with some other traffic, let's say you have few more customer, let's say this is from Ireland, okay. His traffic goes to DNS. DNS will take the responsibility to send it to the server 4. Now this is all good. But again, there is a disadvantage once again in this model when you have a DNS with you, okay. The disadvantage is DNS don't have any algorithm, okay, to see what is the utilization going across on these servers, or DNS don't have any algorithm for finding out if a server is down or powered off, okay. Now what happens is your DNS request, let's say your traffic from India went to DNS, and DNS is going to blindly forward it to server 2. Now that's a drawback because server 2 was down. It was completely down, right? Now there's an outage. Now your Indian user, either he is not able to do his work, okay, or his web pages are down, started showing down. There's a lot of outage that can happen to these Indian users now. Now you need something better. You want to take this out DNS, and you want to plug something called as F5 LTM load balancer. Okay. Now we will talk from LTM point of view, which is your scenario 3. So scenario 1, with just single server, not able to handle all the requests. Scenario 2, with the DNS box, but then it's not very smart enough. It don't have algorithm. It doesn't have a mechanism to see which server is using uh, what percentage of resources, or how many connections are being on, or equal load balancing is happening, or it is not even having a mechanism to see which server is down and which is serving. So that was the disadvantage of scenario 2. Now in scenario 3, I'm going to plug F5. So what I'll do is I'll quickly erase these things so that I can neatly once again redraw the things, okay. So I think these are enough, okay. So let's start designing, okay. So let's say this is my internet. These are my US client, US users, India, Australia, okay. If you want, you can have Ireland, and over here we got the servers. Now servers are not the front end for any connection serving, okay. Servers act as a back end. Now you are gonna plug your F5 here, F5 load balancer, okay. And this load balancer is connected to different servers, server 1, server 2, server 3, server 4. And let's draw it simple. So in the class I will tell you there are routers, switches, okay. So we will definitely consider them. For now let's take it simple, that F5, okay. So now a request comes from US over internet, it will go to F5, okay. F5 is going to do lot many things. It's not just about load balancing. It do the work of intercept, load balancing, okay, SSL termination, that is certificate related thing. Now what F5 does is F5 will send the first TCP connection to the first server. Now let's say the traffic is coming from India. Now F5 is going to push this to server 2. Similar way, the next traffic comes from Australia. Now the traffic is sent to the third, or to the, yeah, to the third machine, that is this one, this server. Similar way, finally, last traffic which hits the F5 LTM and it will taken to the server 4. Okay, so your first connection, second connection, third connection, and fourth connection. Now, what if there was one more user from, let's say, Singapore, and his traffic hits to the F5? Now, who should the F5 send? So you must know that F5 make use of some algorithm. Okay, we call it as load balancing algorithm, and by default round robin is selected, and as per round robin the next traffic should come over here. Okay, so 1 2 3 4 back to 1, the next connection should come here, then over here, then over here. Once again it should go back to this following order. Okay, so this is one of the primary task of the load balancer, to load share. Now all the servers are utilized equally. Okay, so traffic, let's say the traffic here was initially, okay, so let's say initially it was 10% occupied. Over here you had a 10% occupied, right? So this server was 10% occupied. Now what happens is, as the connection is load shared equally, the resource utilization is going in a very structured format. All of them are accurately getting utilized. It's not that one is highly utilized and might be the last one is not at all utilized. It doesn't go that way. It will be always in a structured way. All will be equally occupied. So let's say this is 30% occupied, so this will be 30%, this is 30%, and this is 29%. Now what happens, the next connection will be sent directly to this, because this was lagging. Now this will also become 30%. Now the next connection will go back to this. Now this will turn to 31%. Let's say the next will come here. So accordingly it keep on going. Okay, that is why when I do a refresh, three servers behind my load balancer are equally getting shared. Okay, so if we want to see the traffic here, we can check quickly. So let me take you to the VIP and stats. Okay, so this is the total traffic in and out that my URL is serving. Now URL has backend pool members. Okay, this is my pool, and pool consists of the members. These are my members. Okay, let's see what is the traffic serve of these three pool members. So you see here, the blue server took 33 connection, the green server took 31, and red server 31. Okay, so if you want, what I can do is I can reset them. So I'll just reset the traffic. Okay, now they are 0, the counters are 0. Now let me reinitiate the testing. So let's refresh. Okay, multiple refresh. Okay, and if I come here, so let me just refresh this to see the updated counters. So you can see the traffic connection now. The traffic connection went 10 11 10. Now if I refresh once again, okay, if I come back and I try to see the updated packet, so you see here, this was 11, now it has become 12. Okay, so they will be going in a systematic or a structured format. So that is what round robin does, and that's one feature of LTM. Now what I'll do is I will erase these things, all right, and then we will start with F5, what F5 does, and where is these things used in the enterprise. So give me 1 second to erase all these things. Okay, okay, let me redraw from scratch. Okay, all right, we are good. uh yes, let's start with F5. Okay, F5 LTM. Now we know this is a load balancer, right? Now what can these load balancer do? We know that it can do the work of serving the traffic, it can load balancer, but yes, what else it can do, right? All right, so let me write some points here and the different names that we use to call F5 load balancer or the load balancer boxes. Okay, so what is F5 LTM load balancer? Well, I can say that it's a layer 3 device because it is able to do the routing. Okay, all the interface are configured with IP addresses. What else about load balancer? It is similar to router. It is going to be similar to router, but it can do much more wider features which routers cannot do, right? A router cannot do load balancing to the servers, right? It cannot keep track of the next thing. So let's say if I have a router and if it has three paths to reach the destination, it will send it across to all the three. But what if this went down? It is not so smart enough to detect the fault and place a temporary restriction. It is still passing on. But in the case of F5, it's very smart because there is a concept of probe, due to which it's gonna see that server is up or down. And if it's down, then it will mark this as down and then start serving the traffic to these two only. Okay, so fine, that's a different thing, we will come to that. Okay, so similar to router, wider features, and it can analyze the data at the application layer. Okay, and use the concept of load balancing on servers. Okay, now we are dealing with all these HTTP and HTTPS traffic, which is a layer 7 OSI protocols. So that's why we say that load balancer can analyze the data at the application layer, and it uses its load balancing feature uh, to serve the traffic. Okay, so this is a simple FI LTM thing, but what are the different uses of FI LTM? So the one use I can call it as intercept. Intercept is nothing but uh, it's something like you're analyzing the traffic. You're analyzing the incoming traffic, and then you're performing the task. So let's say a traffic just enters inside FI. Now this traffic is Chinese user. Now what FI does is FI will read the incoming traffic and push to the backend server. Now that backend server is that server which has the Chinese database. What if now the request is coming from a French user? Now FI will not send the traffic to the Chinese server. Instead, it will send to the another server which has the French database, right? So load balancer is intercepting your incoming traffic. It's gonna read what type of traffic is coming inside FI and whom it has to be forwarded. It's doing more intelligent work here. Okay, so I say the use of FI is intercept. You can analyze the incoming traffic, and accordingly you can serve it, right? Which router or any other device will of course be not able to do that, which FI lets us to have it. Okay, what about the second thing? Second thing is the security. If you talk from the SSL certification point of view, right? Let's say if I have a client and this client is trying to browse some server. Now these are confidential files, right? And we may not know who is this client. Might be his device is compromised. There could be some man in middle, in between. We never know the different attacks that can be happening. So if someone is trying to access our server, so might be he can steal our data, right? There could be viruses put up over on the traffic, or a malicious attack. So we need some SSL certificate offloading, SSL certificate handshake, where we know, or we can see the trust worthy of the user. We can see if he's making use of a right SSL protocol, he's a trustful user. So SSL is very important from the security point of view. Okay, which FI does it? Now if you would have some routers or firewalls, then there is no concept of SSL termination on router or firewalls or switches. SSL certification or SSL uh, offloading termination, these are all concept of FI. So that's again a huge use point from for FI in enterprise. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna say SSL certificate offloading. Okay, what else? I already told you about the load balancing usage, right? So by default, it has some algorithm, and what is it called as round robin, right? There are few more things which I'll talk in few minutes. So using this, we can load share. So if I have servers, my traffic can be accordingly served. Okay, so this is a balancing using algorithm. Now load sharing can also happen if you are very well versed with I rules. Now these are little advanced thing, the I rule concept, where you can define the traffic flow or redirection. Let's say you're receiving a traffic on HTTP, but then you're redirecting all these traffic to HTTPS. Okay, so you need a I rule for those things. There are other things that Fi can be used. So let's say this is my fourth point. My fifth point, I can write it as some custom time based hits. Let's say you don't want a whip. Let's say my URL, you don't need this to be browsed between 5 to 10 p.m. IST. Now you can block it. Okay, you can also put some restriction that you don't need the source, someone who is coming from let's say 10.10.10.1. If you don't want this, so you can put the restriction. Now these group of people cannot access this URL. Okay, so Fi can do lot many things: intercept, SSL certificate, offloading, load balancing, algorithms, I rules, custom time based. Okay, and yes, it can also do very important thing which is called as compression and optimization. Very important thing, guys. This is your web URL tuning factors. Okay, so if I take you to my Fi page, the management of it, if I go to the web here, and if you just scroll down, so there are options of HTTP compression. Okay, so you can see here. So these are very important. Let's say your web page consists of 20 MB file size, and when the user is running on a slower network, this web page will not load, right? So you need some compression protocol or mechanism which will compress the web page to, let's say, 1 MB, but also don't lose the properties. So you need compression and optimization. Now this again can be achievable using Fi LTM. Okay, we have the features here in the website. So I'll tell you while we go with these topics inside the class, like what are the compressions and how do we enable. So yes, these are some use cases. Okay, so let me just erase this for now, and we will go to the next topic. So you better take the screenshot of it. Okay, good. So we just erased it. All right. Now what is the next topic? Next topic is called as ADC. That's nothing but application delivery controllers. Okay. Now what is ADC and what is an example for ADC? Now your F5 LTM is also called as ADC, application delivery controller. The reason is, as we all know, F5 load balancer is gonna handle the traffic coming from the application layers, right? Or the layer 7 application. So let's say if this is my internet and I have my LTM kept here, okay, which is connected to the different servers. So let's say if a user is making use of his laptop and he is serving or he's trying to browse a URL. So let's say the URL is xyz.com, which resolves on this IP. Okay. So now what happens here? Why do we call F5 as application delivery content or controller? So the user is requesting on xyz.com and your load balancer is gonna do few real-time usage of intercept. Okay, it's gonna inspect the traffic, it's gonna transform the request, okay, or responses. It's gonna see the load balancing algorithm, and then it will push the traffic or the push the TCP connection accordingly, right? So depending upon your application, it is going to make use of appropriate resources. So I'm calling these as resources. These are resources. So this is a example for application delivery controller. Okay, so I have already told you what is meaning of intercept, inspect, and transform request response LB algorithm. So these all deals with the traffic uh, decision, or whom to send the traffic, which server to send the traffic. Okay, so F5 is also called as application delivery controller. Now F5 is also called as reverse proxy. Okay, new names. I can make use of the same diagram. So what do you understand by proxy first? What is proxy? You might have seen uh, in your classroom, if you have a teacher or madam or sir, and if she is calling out the attendance, there are some students who make use of the proxy attendance. Okay, so let's say if the madam is calling out the names of the students, and if the student don't happen to be in the class, so what would the friends do? They might give a proxy on behalf of the friend who is not in the class. Okay, so proxy, I can say that it's a intermediate device. Okay, intermediate device between the two elements and doing the work of transparency. Okay, so why F5 is called reverse proxy now? So F5 could have also called as directly proxy, right? But why do we call it reverse proxy? Now the traffic flow, if it was in this direction, that is in to out, yes, we could have told that LTM is a proxy. Okay, but that don't happens in the case of F5, because F5 act as a server and your client is here. Now whatever traffic comes, it's coming from this direction, that is outside to inside direction, right? And then LTM forwards the packet depending upon the load balancing mechanism, and then it's gonna respond back. Right now it's in a reverse direction, it's not a forwarding direction, it's a reverse direction. Okay, request is coming from external world, and then LTM is sending it further to the servers, and the request comes back to the server, to the LTM, and then LTM will reply back. Right now it's a reverse direction, reverse flow. That's why we call also it as a reverse connection. All right, so fine, we will move next because we this is a very short video about Fi, so I don't want to bore you guys with a heavy content. Okay, I will directly go with some Fi mechanism or Fi concepts. Okay, all right, so let me draw a Fi and its web server which are connected. Okay, so let's say this is Fi and I have a switch, and the switch is connected to different servers. So in a real time, this is how they are connected. Okay, so server 1, server 2, server 3, and here I can keep my router or firewall, anything. Okay, and this router then connects to ISP or internet, and on other side we have different users. Okay, so how does these URLs are constructed? So we should remember these are called as VIP, virtual. So how do we create this VIP here? So they if you open up the management of F5, we can go to the LTM section. Okay, so we can go to the local traffic section. We can go to the virtual server, and then we can click on this plus symbol. Or if you want to see the existing one, then you can see here my existing VIP. Okay, it's configured at 200.100, and this service port is been enabled. Okay, HTTP. And if I just open up this, you can see all the different parameters that I have configured. Okay, so VIP, and you configured it under LTM and VIP. Okay, now what internally of this VIP is being enabled? So this is a VIP. Okay, now we need to see what is present inside this VIP. So if I scroll, let's see if I can find some information. Okay, so nothing much here, but what about the other things? Let's say resource. So when you click on resource, you see something is being selected, default pool. Okay, so LTM VIP, and then we see some pool options. So let's go to the pool now. Pool is over here. This is the pool, and then we see some configurations. Okay, if I click on members, we can see the three servers. So now I came to know pool internally consists of three backend servers. Okay, so server 1, server 2, and server 3. Now your load balancer overall consists in this way. So VIP is nothing but your IP. Okay, VIP has a pool in the backend, and pool has n number of servers. So in my examples, I have only three. You can have four, you can have 10, or you can have multiple like 30, 40. It depends on you. Okay, so this is how the VIP look like. So these are the three servers: red server, green server, and blue server. Yes, we will go ahead and we will see all the different points here. But as of now, let's keep it short and simple. Okay. So let me see if I have left anything. All right, guys, I think we have spent a lot of time today. I'll do one thing. I'll bring up the next part of this, that is part B of this, where we will discuss about the load balancing algorithm. Okay, we will discuss about load balancing algorithm. And if you see here my lab, so I have already set up all these things. So we will see how do we create webs, we will see the pools, we can go to the network column, we can see the different self IPs configured, the different interface, the trunkings or route domains, right? So there are a lot of valuable topics here. So guys, before I wind up, let me tell you, this is part of our instructor led training. Okay, you might have already aware about our instructor led training, and this is called as firewall mastery. Okay, 5 in 1. That means we teach 5 top technologies here. We started up with Palo Alto firewall. We are about to complete this. Just the last 1 week of training is left here. So once this is over, then we will start with F5 LTM. So this is gonna be like 1 month of program. Once after F5, we will start ASA or like FTD. Okay, depending upon the license and image, if we get, we will show FTD, or else we will show you ASA only. Once ASA is completed, once again 1 month. Now we will start with checkpoint, and then we will start with FortiGate. So all are each 1 month of program. So totally 5 top technologies under single package. So that's the feature of this batch. Okay, so I've already mentioned that over here. And then what about the duration? You can see the duration here. It's going to be Monday to Wednesday. Time is 11:30 p.m. IST. It's gonna be 1 hour session or maximum 130. Okay, not more than 1.5 hour. 1.5 hour. So this is Monday to Friday, 11:30 p.m. IST, which is going to be like 6 p.m. UTC for us. Okay, we are plus 5:30 as per the GMT. All right. What about pricing for this batch? So what you need to do is you need to write us an email, or you can WhatsApp me. So this is the number 9739521088. Okay, or you can also email us networkjourney.com at the rate gmail.com. All right, guys, so I think this was informative class. And yes, this is the lab topology which you would be getting. Okay, and benefit of taking all 5 in 1 is you will be part of this lab topology, which has its own workbook, and you will also get access to these labs. Okay, so you can just see here, I have ASA firewall here, I also have some ASA firewall, I have F5. Okay, so when I just initiated them, my traffic by default should be dropped by ASA firewall, but that's not happening, right? The reason is we have allowed policy on the outside interface. So this lab lets you to work on a real time basis. Okay, You are going to learn ASA, FY, Palo, Checkpoint, FortiGate. There are concepts of MPLS. For the AAA concepts, we are trying to introduce the Cisco ICE server. Okay, so all the new things or add-on things you can see in this package. So I would say you go ahead and go for the 5-in-1 package itself. So let me show you how and where you need to look for. So this is the URL, firewall mastery 5-in-1 networkjourney.com. So this is our website. There are PDF to be downloaded. So if you just open them, so you can see there are 300 downloads that has happened here. You can see 148 for FortiGate, 130 for ASA, 124 for Checkpoint, 132 for load balancer. Okay, so all the pricing are being updated. This is for pricing. If you want to buy single modules, you can go and buy single module, or if you want the complete one, you can go with complete one. The complete one has more discount. Okay, and similar way for Indian students, you can go ahead and check this. Okay, all right guys, so I'll wind up for now. We will meet in the next class and I'll show you the different load balancing algorithm. Okay, so thank you everyone.